feel that the climate is accelerating. The pollution is accelerating. And they're not stopping like, okay, the Ganges, you can't bathe in a thing because it smells, and they just, you know, anybody dumb enough to, they gotta be really religious to bathe in that thing, right? They gotta be crazy. It's like bathing in a sewer.
Right.
All them people feeding that river is bathing in a sewer. And all those rivers is going right into the ocean. And the ocean can't break that stuff down that they're putting in it, not that fast. Okay, anyway. So the time, we've shifted our time. When we go back to California soon, we're going back there for a reason, and we're going to begin to do the things that we need to do. It doesn't make no difference what they do. We already got it lined up what we want to do. We've already given them a chance to, if they wanted to help out, we try to make them feel comfortable. They don't, okay, we got to do what we got to do. We have extended, you know, this, I ain't gonna call it a free ride, but we've been doing this for a long time. Boss man, why don't you come around? Boss man, get yourself together. Boss man, it won't hurt. You just, don't worry. We're gonna do what we know is right, not what you know. We just want you to stay out of the way. He ain't saying nothing, fine. We'll go out and get busy. See, you remember, it don't make no difference what the outcome is for us. As long as we're doing our job and following the prescription of As-Sabiqun, what do? They go out, they anticipate, they premeditate, they go out and they do the best they can, right? That's what they do. That's what we did. So far, so good. We've been so accurate on Boss Man that Boss Man got all the computers running out, and he hasn't been as accurate as we have. In fact, it's a little scary because it's almost to the day. Because see, when you got to go to the library and collect all that information, and but when you got it all right here, click, 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 all of a sudden, you're not isolated, you're incorporated. You know what I mean? All the lectures by the big scholars that you needed, you go to sit in the university class or listen, you don't have to do that anymore. You got it all right there. You can take their analysis, and you can take everybody, you know what I mean? I mean, it's unbelievable. And it's not making you lazy, it's making you more accurate. We're more accurate now than we was a few years ago, if that's possible. Why? Because the flow. And they can't cut you off from all of this. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. Anyway. He's the one cut off. He haven't done nothing right in so long. He ought to have a psychological problem. I guess he does.
I think so.
He got a, hey man, the boy, he ought to be feeling deprived and misled and all kind of stuff.
Which makes him more dangerous.
Dangerous as he can be. But this is a great era for our As-Sabiqun. Before an attack, offer ability to surrender. That's part of Islam. You're there, you're going to attack. You say, hey, y'all want to surrender? And that's what we've been doing with Boss Man. Boss Man, you gotta have some sense. I mean, have you read, that's, you know, years ago, it was over 10 or 15 years ago. I told the FBI, have you ever read a history book? You know, they're questioning me, and I went to see them, you know. I said, I want to talk to y'all, you know what I mean? Whatever they call that, conflict resolution, that's exactly what they call it, conflict. Hey man, it's all this. And they had all of my As-Sabiqun, they read them. So as we would talk, they would say stuff like, yeah, you believe in martyrdom and all of that stuff. So I was just sitting downstairs, where I was sitting. It said, martyrs wall. You use the word martyrs, guy, the FBI kid, got it right down there. So that one office on Fourth Street. The city hall is down there, and the police is down there, and the FBI is up here, a couple of blocks or so. I don't know if it's still like that, but I said, you guys can have martyrs, and we can't, And we kept talking. That don't look like, I said, have you ever read a history book? You don't know what's coming over the day. I said, that stuff that you getting, you sending it to yourself. It's phony. I said, have you guys ever read a history book? Hey, okay, let me speed up. Okay, scriptural history. We say that's a trip. Scriptural history is right before our eyes. We don't have to explain that. I'm not even going to read the ayats from the Quran that I maybe have read one or two of them. But that's scriptural history. These people are destroying the modern world without a guilty conscience.
Right.
And we're As-Sabiqun. So we have to go out in front and keep up and point the way. Inshallah, we'll continue to exercise the strongest people are the ones who are still kind even after the world tore them apart. That's a good sound. I don't know whether it's a hadith, but it's a good sound, real nice. The strongest people are the ones who are still kind even after the world tore them apart. Okay. So adversity is a blessing if it's used properly. So adversity in Quran, adversity in Hadith are fuel for us to make us stronger and better. And so adversity is healthy. We don't want to deal, we've already dealt with blockades and all of that stuff. Yeah. Why I explain past victories equal. Make your opponent evolve in strategy, tactics, and implementation. Okay, why don't we tell boss man, okay, boss man, we just hit you with a jab, we hit you with this, and we hit you with that. So we'll make his game sharper. His game is sharper, and then we get sharper. Because he's dull and stupid now. The boss man is stupid. It's like, you can read him like a book. Boss man, didn't I tell you that? Man. So we tell him these things, and it's not making him any smarter. He's not using, that nigga used psycho discombobulation on us. Well, we're going to recombobulate him, and we're going to, and then I would have to get sharper. Now the poor guy is just stupid. All the punches is hitting, you know what I mean? He's getting like, fighter, like George Foreman. He was still good, but he couldn't move out of the way. In the later years, he couldn't move. He see him coming. He just slowed up. So, also too, you have to know your limitations. So, as we get older and da-da-da-da-da, we have to know. That's why we started talking about the old master years ago. So you know the young guy jump up, turn, flips, and ready to go. But the old master don't do that. He just, all you got to do is miss you by a quarter inch. He done missed you, right? So you don't have to turn all them flips and do all of this. All you do is, just like that, you don't move any more than you have to miss the punch, right? And that's the way it is with boss man. But he's getting, boss man needs a lot of help. And he's not taking help. He's not taking help from the people because probably he's just not trusting, and he's not a nice guy, and he did so much wrong. He thinks that everybody want to do him like he did everybody else. That's not true, but there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, are there any questions, any comments about anything? I'm going to pass on most of the, I'll do these later. So are there any questions, any comments about anything?
There weren't any questions. The brother did say he came by here yesterday. It makes a lot. When nobody was here, he was disappointed that he came by here. You know, I guess he came from out of town.
Oh, he came by?
Yeah, I guess he came from out of town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said I was in D.C., so he must have been from out of town. He must have came.
Okay, well, we do the best that we can as a community. I don't know, all the other Masjid they're opening now?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Okay.
You know, they had the janazah yesterday.
Right, how did that go?
I mean, it was okay.
All right.
Yeah, it was
I mean, did, that was a dark-skinned brother used to sell the pies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, so that pretty much no questions.
Okay,
The brother
no
said something
questions.
about concordance. I guess he was just saying, you know, when you were talking about breaking down words, he was
Right.
just, yeah, he was just putting that out.
No, I've been using a concordance for, shoot, it's 35 years I had
Right.
my first concordance. And that was an education just to, man, it's a serious education. But now every phone is a concordance, 2 or 3 concordances, and then it has the Arabic word, then it has the root word, then it has this. Man, you can become a scholar just sitting there on the phone.
Right. Can you, you said something the other day, and it kind of stuck with me, that you don't have to do this, you know. Can you kind of go into that?
Say that again?
That you don't have to do what you're doing and what you've been doing.
No, in a way, technically, I don't have to do it.
Right.
But in the other way, I do have to do it. In other words, I realize that it's a blessing. I realize that, I mean, I can count. I know how many of us are left. And if it was 2, one's in a penitentiary for the rest of his life. And I don't consider, I mean, I like the people, but you got to go by what they're doing. And as far as a correct analysis, they give good Islamic talks and all that, but a correct analysis of the time, place, and circumstance we're living in, they're not doing it. So I consider this is a privilege and an honor to have been doing this as long And I believe along with this is all the things that we need. Allah knows what we need to do, what we're trying to do, and what fits into His program. So I believe that, and I believe that everything, if we go out there and we're going to do this, that, and other with the government, if they shut this down and say you can't do this, say you can't do that, and try to get us bogged down for years in a legal program, I just go around and go on about our business. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying is I don't have to do this because personally, you know, when I read I'm satisfied with Allah as Lord, with Muhammad as the messenger of Allah, and with Islam as the deen, the reason I read it every time because I'm down with that. I'm satisfied with that. Also, I'm satisfied with what we are, where we are, and what's going on, but I'm not satisfied with the mission has some, you know, when you're all right, but there's that thing, but it's not tied to, I have to do it because I want to do it and I need the money or I need the friends or I need, it ain't that. It's like, this is part of your job. So that's the way I made it out. No, I don't have to do this, but then a way, under the, relating to the environment, the time, place, and circumstance that we're living in, I'm obligated, I'll put it this way, I'm obligated to do this. I'm just obligated, but I'm happy with the obligation, you know what I mean? Because, and there's some things like what Ali radiallahu anhu said. He said, oh Allah, I worship you, he says, Najul Balaga. I worship you not because of your paradise and your all. He said, I worship you because you deserve to be worshipped. And I said, well, that's about it. Okay, I'm doing this because that's what's happening. And you know, that's when I go back how I was raised, what I went through all my life, it was pointing to this. All the tactics we use, the stuff, it looks like it's coming out of the air and from under the table, which it is in some ways. But if a person ever felt mission orientated, that's what I feel. I feel this is a mission, and I like the mission, and I like the diversions and all other stuff that we do. You know, I like that, and I like. I'm not uncomfortable with none of this. If I had to find some discomfort, it's with, do we have enough time to fix this before it goes under? You know, before that boss man is in a rush, that boy is a seller, he in a rush to take it down. You know, and that's where faith comes in too. That's where that Imam comes in. That you have faith in the ultimate. All the other periods was dramatic for that time. In Noah's time, the flood was it. You know what I mean? Well, if it was a world flood, they could have big boats that could float on top of the water for 1,000 years and pump down and get stuff out of it. They could grow stuff on top of the ocean. You know what I mean? If they had to. So it wouldn't be water this time. Some said it would be fire. I'm just happy to be alive at the time we're living in, and I thank Allah for the opportunity to not be a coon. I'm thankful to Allah that I'm not a coon. I don't care what they do. The coons, I don't care. You know, I don't wanna be with them, I don't wanna, I'm not against them. You know what I mean, I don't want bad to happen to them, you know, so I never make, oh, I fix them niggas for doing this. I don't do that. I don't even want that. I'll be going, hey man, why don't you get the word, this is fun over here. The water's fine. Yeah, it's bubbling and it's all of that, so it couldn't be that, so that's your view. That's your view. So I hope I answered the question a little bit. Okay. Aqulu qawli hadha wa astaghfirullah li wa lakum.